According to the Drug Enforcement Agency, drugs like morphine, heroin, and cocaine were discovered in America as early as the 19th century, and since then our society has been battling issues with drug addiction and abuse. Drug addiction is a disease that takes more than good intentions and willpower to cure, and is a chronic problem that alters the user's brain to cause them to constantly crave the high from drugs, despite the negative consequences that may result from using them. Addicts typically begin using drugs by choice, for recreation, or to help cope with the problem. However, over time, drug use changes the brain and deteriorates their ability to resist the urge to use the drug and their ability to cope without the high. The number of people who have used drugs continues to rise in the United States and is getting progressively harder to control. Whereas before most drug transactions were only made on American soil, our country's drug enforcement agencies now have to fight a battle outside the United States as well. According to the Council on Foreign Relations in 2012, Mexico is a major supplier of heroin to the United States market and the largest foreign supplier of meth and marijuana. With drugs being supplied from Mexico, they are cheaper to buy and harder to get caught with, which appeals to an even larger crowd of people than before. Teenagers are beginning to experiment more with drugs because of how cheap some of them can be. Teenagers tend to try drugs at social events so that they will fit in with their peers, or they think they will have more fun if they are high. About 50% of high school seniors do not think it is harmful to try crack or cocaine once or twice, and 40% believe it is not harmful to use heroin once or twice. In a study done at the University of Minnesota, it showed that only 10% of the 1.5 million adolescents with substance abuse problems get the appropriate treatment. Another class of people who seem drawn to abusing drugs is those in high-stress environments. Whether they are facing money problems, issues with their family, or a stressful job or situation, drugs provide a quick and easy to get relief. Tobacco and alcohol can be very expensive, and the taxes on those goods continue to rise, which is turning people to the less expensive and tax-free drugs on the street. Getting high is now cheaper than spending the evening drinking, which eases the guilt of spending money on drugs. One dose or tablet can be adequate for an entire night out instead of drinking several pints of alcohol to become drunk. Once a person begins to use drugs to deal with their problems, they feel like they are unable to handle anything without being under the influence. Their dependence on drugs leads them to become addicted to the sensation they associate with using the drug, and in turn the drug itself. Over the years, many types of treatment have been experimented with to try to combat this problem. One of those that has shown a higher success rate than most are live-in treatment facilities, which are very structured in schedule and rules. Patients are on site 24 hours a day, allowing recovery to be the sole focus of their lives while in treatment. Forcing the client to follow a strict schedule and be closely monitored makes it nearly impossible for him to continue using drugs. Holding the client accountable for staying off drugs pushes them to become less dependent on them and will increase their chances of staying clean after they are discharged. One Owensboro shelter is working to fight the growing rate of homelessness and addiction in our area. Boulware Mission offers treatment services to the public in an effort to stop homelessness before it begins, since a huge percentage of the homeless population became homeless due to a substance abuse problem. Boulware is a faith-based, non-profit shelter and has been supported primarily through private donations by the community since it was established in 1921. Harold Richardson is the drug and alcohol counselor and program coordinator at Boulware and is the backbone behind the rehabilitation program. Boulware is a homeless shelter and a drug and alcohol rehabilitation center that is dedicated to serving those in need of help in our community. Last year they treated 350 people, but Harold says they will serve as many as possible. Although about 80% of Boulware's clients are court-ordered to be in their program, they will gladly serve anyone who feels their life is out of control because of an addiction. Boulware's rehab is set up by the 12-step model, and classes are about 50% education and 50% psychotherapy groups. The clientele in their program is diverse, but they all have at least a few things in common. Harold states that addiction has no age, and the range of participants is always a varied collection. All clients must attend the same groups, but individual sessions work on their specific issues. While not all of the clients in treatment at Boulware are homeless, about 80% of them are, and the other 20% are usually in a financial spot that their jobs and home are in jeopardy. According to Harold, addiction breeds homelessness, and as individuals progress further into their addiction, they become less capable of holding down a job or meeting their basic needs. One goal of the program is to help clients get back on their feet, so clients are allowed to work after they have completed treatment as long as they have permission from their case manager. Treatment lasts an average of 4 weeks, but Harold informed me that clients are allowed to stay until their needs to live independently are met, and they place no time limit on their stay. This rule allows clients to live at Boulware while they work and save money. Clients do not pay for utilities or meals while they are there, so there are minimal expenses for them. Unfortunately, Boulware has had to begin charging all clients for their treatment due to changes in funding. All clients have to pay $400 for their treatment, whether it is 4 weeks or 6. Boulware would love to do it all for free, but with a budget just short of $500,000 to run their facility, that would not be possible at this time. Over the last 6 years, grants and funding have been scarce, which Harold attributes to everyone being hit in the bad economy. However, with private donations and treatment revenue, Harold says Boulware has kept its head above water. Boulware intends to help anyone who needs it, but in order for their program to run smoothly, certain rules must be followed. Obviously, no use of drugs or alcohol is allowed. Clients must attend all classes unless given permission for a special circumstance, and they must complete all homework and class assignments. Clients are accepted for services without regard to race, color, or religion. Boulware is not, however, a medical or assisted living facility and is not equipped to serve individuals who require assistance with daily independent living activities.